Listen.
So wait, are you gonna go into battle dressed as a cool youth pastor, or...
So leave it to this movie to just leave theaters, only for them to find a way to immediately bring it back. Like, I like how Avatar has waited a decade for them to be able to update its re-release, and under 1 year, Marvel's like, yeah, we already got some things to fix. I was a little worried, considering that the last time that they re-released Endgame, they had that Hulk after-credit scene that was so egregious, it looked like it was rendered worse than a Facebook game, and if you remember, they were also updating the VFX for No Way Home while it was still in theaters. Not to mention theaters sneakily charging people more during the holidays.
How you like the new?
If you were curious on the more money version, they got it back in time just for school with literally an extra clip of JJ welcoming students back with a yell. Even though I think they had just graduated in the movie.
Might be a good time for homeschool, folks. Worked wonders for yours truly.
So a big thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this video, because as everyone goes back to classes, there's no better time to actually take the classes you want. It's the online learning platform everyone pretty much knows about that's filled with thousands of lessons, and of course, your favorite YouTubers teaching you how to YouTube. I would personally recommend MKBHD's series titled YouTube Success that breaks down how to edit, how to script, pretty much all the different things you need to know about uploading and how to maintain a channel, all in an easy to follow layout where you can also discuss ideas with other people. Personally, back in 2014 when I first heard about Skillshare, I would have had a pretty successful class, since I was telling everyone for free to put explain in their title, and looking at receipts, seems I had a lot of students. The first 1,000 viewers to sign up through my link get a 1-month free trial, so if you're interested, click the link in the description and support the channel by learning a new thing or two.
And I'll explain everything.
Let me.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Because it was a $3 cinema day, I caught Jaws in IMAX. I wanted to go see Nope for a 7th time. I decided to catch this bad boy in 40X for the reissue so that I can be all in on the action like Marty intended it to be, with all of the mist and the shaking seats. So when Goblin was beating up Parker, he was whooping my ass too. But look, it's not necessary to catch this movie. I don't think it's going to change your opinion if you didn't like the original version, but yeah, it's cute. I have the full LME right here if you still want to catch that, but I kind of just want to use this video to talk about all of the scenes that they fleshed out and how it kind of just feels like the visuals have been amped up. It feels like we're getting a 4K update for the first time. It's been all patched, and it also kind of doubles down on a lot of the critiques that I had.
That'll do it.
Now, just in case, I know some people haven't seen it, so full spoilers, because while there were people quoting it like it was a Rocky Horror Picture screening, there were also people in my audience who were surprised by Green Goblin. I don't know how after almost a year you haven't been spoiled. After you've seen the new trailer, the new poster you bought tickets for, but they legit cried when the other itsy bitsy spiders came out of their portal spots, even though they were also in the intro of the movie. The first new scenes that we get are a part of the interrogation sequence that brings up the events of the first 2 movies, and they include that IMAX shot I had talked about where I said it was Agent Cleary. Well, he now speaks, so it's fully confirmed it's Cleary. They finally added more scenes to how the school reacted, instead of just saying that it was the craziest thing Peter's faced. And then he's just walking around town. They extended his strut down the hallways, showcased how I boosted my book sales, broke down the Statue of Liberty contest because it's that big of a deal, and even had a whole gym wall bit where the whole class was chanting climate more than Greta.
It's a science school, so 2 push-ups is extraordinary athletic abilities.
Betty also sold out and worked for the Bugle
as an unpaid intern.
So pretty much they just took her TikTok promos from real life and compiled them into an exclusive interview with the teachers and students about Peter Parker. And I really appreciated how they focused on the bad green screen as an homage to She-Hulk.
Attaboy.
A couple of the other deleted and extra scenes would involve the scene where you actually see his suit end up being drenched in green paint, leaving him looking like prey. And it's actually his brother who plays the thief, since Tom wanted to hang him.
And I'm complaining, I'm whinging about the day. I'm like, I'm so tired and he's working me so hard and I just want a break. And my brother Harry's like, mate, you're Spider-Man, suck it up and get on with it, you'll be fine. So we hire Harry, we've cast Harry, he's on set. I go up to the stunt coordinator and I'm like, please, just whatever you do with the stunt, make it so that he's upside down. And he's like, mate, you can complain as much as you want. That was brutal. And I was like, well, mate, but the icing on the cake, and I don't think he actually knows this, we saw the film the other day, and they've cut the scene.
There's also some extra lab bits where they're searching for the other villains and they end up with, Groot's cousin coming in. They extended the Bugle bits where JJ continues his war on info while he sells his Rogan pills. The elevator bit wasn't as long as I thought it was going to be, especially with how much they teased it. I also still don't get why Lizard got a say to stay in the van, but I was happy with the new Daredevil scene where he's helping Favreau since, his history continues with Murdoch.
Come on, let's go get drunk. Not tonight. I got work to do.
A lot of the other updates just helps the movie flow better. You know, you can see that the effects are a lot smoother and that they did another pass through. Because again, they were doing updates when the movie was literally in theaters the first time. Mind you, there's still some jitter jumps here and there, but it's crazy that my favorite scene in the entire movie had to look like booty cheeks the first time around. Like, it was so bad when it premiered that YouTubers were making edits to fix it, and now after all these months, Marvel themselves finally got it right, and it just makes the scene feel a whole lot better. Them landing as a trio is cleaner. Them fighting is brighter. Even Peter's clothes look more wrinkly since, he doesn't have an Iron Man. That said, there's still more updates to come since they're still doing that thing where they black out the Tombstone date. One, easily, it's because of Hawkeye taking place during the same time, and now they gotta fix that. But also because every single MCU Spider-Man movie has printed out timeline dates, only to then, no lie, alter them before the next Spider-Man movie comes out. So, I don't know, Feige must have Doctor Strange in the writer's room.
The runes of Kafka.
The runes of Kafka.
Oh, it's just a standard spell of forgetting.
Goblin, of course, continues to steal the show like he stole those donuts in the background. His smile while he's getting whooped gets me every time. But where is this deleted scene? I need that Goblin v. Tobey. Look, it is fitting that with this being the 3-movie-long origin story for Holland, that it wraps up with the original baddie coming in to test his limits. So when he kills Aunt May, and Peter's so distraught that the SWAT team had to shoot him off her in order for him to leave, I felt that. Literally. Then there's the Spider Bros. Them walking in from their portals finally got a patch since, it's just a pretty big scene in the movie. Finally, it got its DLC, along with the emotional rooftop sequence where the lighting is now superior. The banter just flows better. And I had said that it felt like it was all improvised and that they then cut it up in post. And yeah, you finally hear the in-between moments that lead up to their punchlines.
The Avengers! Yeah! That's great! Thank you! What is that?
To me, Tobey's still the best. He was there collecting that check while he's chilling on his back. But Andrew really did eat it up. That leak scene that got Andrew in trouble is finally out, and it's him talking about wanting brothers. You see a lot more of his excitement to be around them, and they finally respond to his,
I love you guys.
Mind you, they say I love you back in the intro bit, but it's finally less awkward on the lead up.
And I love the idea that maybe Tom's Peter would have suffered the same fate as Andrew's Peter if Andrew hadn't have somehow come into that universe and learned from the mistakes of the past and made sure that my younger brother and his love didn't have the same fate. That's kind of cosmically.
It's so cool.
In the end, MJ really was right about being disappointed. That final goodbye still hit, and I'm pretty sure that everyone was crying in the crowd while they were sniffling. Either that or they had COVID. The first of the after-credit scenes is still Venom after he transported there from his universe in his last movie, and I'm still banking on it being Andrew, who he's going to go visit when he goes back to NYC.
You've got Tom Hardy's Venom out there. You've got the...
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
The final after-credits is by default better than what we first got, since the first time around, they were lazy and just dropped the trailer. Now it's a segment from Betty's Corner, where she looks back at their graduating class. And it's pretty split on if it answers anything from the spell. I know some people think it showcases that Peter vanished from all of the pictures, Hermione style, but he's still in some of them. They just covered him. Others think it's thematic proof that Peter was never there for his high school years, and thus it's easy to forget him. Meanwhile, I'm like, ain't there a whole shrine in the hallway?
We should do this again.
You got it. Secret Wars. Thank you all for watching this video, and again, a big shout out for Skillshare for sponsoring. It just feels like they're just gonna keep reissuing this movie so many times that like the next re-release is just gonna be called Spider-Man No Way You Going Home. Again, I like the visual updates that they gave this movie. I feel the story elements fill in some gaps, even if it contrasts the pacing, but overall, I'm curious to know your thoughts on it, whether you think it helped the story, what are some other scenes you want to see. Again, we need that Goblin bit to see the fight sequence because they don't get to talk. In terms of the 40X, Sonic 2 is still probably the best that I've seen in that format. It's cool, you get to swing with them, like you're buying pineapple, you get beat up by the villains, but you also get beat up by the hero too, so I'm saving 40X for racing movies. I still think that that's the best format for that medium. Again, I think it fixes a lot of little things that should have been fixed from the start, but that's kind of what happens with the MCU. It's always been wild how MCU stands. I always tell them, listen, but they don't. I went back to every Marvel video where I had said a complaint about said movie, and they get like really mad in the comments. And then 8 months later, Marvel themselves actually addresses it and fixes it. So if you disagree, Marvel won't by the next year. So let me know your thoughts on this movie or any others, what you're looking forward to for the next phase that they've got going on. And until next time, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll send you a donut.